Hey, what's up? I'm Ignace Aleya from ToleratedCinematics.com, and today I will be showing you how to create this awesome lower thirds that you see right here. I know it looks awesome. We're going to see how to create that in Adobe After Effects entirely, but if you don't wish to follow this tutorial or you want to support our YouTube channel, you can always buy the template on our website. We have the After Effects template, but we also have the Essential Graphics template, which you can use in After Effects, but you can also use it in Adobe Premiere Pro, which is absolutely amazing. Because if you're not an After Effects expert, or even if you are and you just want to use this in Adobe Premiere Pro, you can just import the Essential Graphics, change a few things like the color, the text, and stuff like that, which social media you want to use, and you just fly with it. It's so awesome. Seriously, these Essential Graphics are so awesome. I love them so much, and it's a really big game changer if you ask me. But I'm going to show you the promo about the Essential Graphics right now so you get an idea of it, and then after that we're going to see the tutorial on how to create it exactly. Alright, so that looks really cool. All the links are in the description. Now we're going to take a look on how to create this thing entirely. So let's head over to Adobe After Effects. Alright, here we are in Adobe After Effects, and today I will be talking about how to create this right here. So this is a really cool lower thirds if you ask me. I really like the style. It's very cool, very dynamic. So yeah, let's see how to create something like this. So the first thing that we'll do is actually create a new composition, and we can actually make this a square. So I'm going to go for like 2000 by 2000, and then right here I'm going to be renaming this to like pop effect. And there we go. Let's click OK. And here I'm going to my assets folder, and I'm going to use one of the Instagram logos right here. So I'm going to drag this right here into my composition. Okay, there we go. And now what I want to do is press S on the keyboard, maybe lower the scale to something like 75, something a little bit smaller, or maybe even 50 to make it small enough so we have enough space to make that pop effect. Okay, so once you have that, we are going to click away, make sure that your layer isn't selected, and we are going over here and select the rectangular shape. Okay, so right here. And now I will be, making something like this, something like similar to the kind of, Instagram logo that we see right here. We can also hold Shift to make it perfectly, having the same ratio, so actually being like a square. And then we're going to open up these effects, and we're going to open the fill color right here, click on the fill text right here, and just say that we want it to be transparent. And then right here for the stroke, we want to give this some kind of color. So I'm going to use my pivot tool here. I'm going to select like an orange that we see in the logo, and then I'll click OK. So now we see that if we zoom in, we have our stroke right here. And what I want to do is open the stroke settings right here. We want to make it a little bit bigger, so maybe something like this. And also we want to round it a little bit more. So if I'm going to change this to something like 10, just make sure that rounding is something similar to the logo right here. So what we're going to do is open the rectangle path, and we're going to round it a little bit more. Something like this should be fine. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is okay. And we're going to make it a lot bigger. So something like 60. So I'm going to animate it. I'm going to click on the stopwatch for the stroke width, and then like after 1 second, I'm going to change this to 0. So now it's actually animating inwards like so. Now what I want to do is click on my shape layer, press S on the keyboard, and also hold Shift and press R on the keyboard. This is going to reveal the scale and rotation property. I'm also going to make a stopwatch for this at the beginning of my timeline right here. Again, at 1 second, I'm going to rotate it to 0. So I'm going to click on my keyframe right here and right here. So we have the exact same position as right here. Then at the beginning of my timeline, if we go back, I'm actually going to rotate it a little bit. So we can choose something like 90 and maybe scale it from 0. So now we have something like this. So if we're going to unselect our logo for now, we have something like this. Okay, so what you can do is select, press U on the keyboard to reveal all the keyframes. Select the last ones, right click, keyframe assistance, easy ease. And now we're going into the graph editor, which you will see right here. Click on it. And then if we will select these, just make sure that you are in the speed graph right here. We're going to drag this to the left, all the way to the left. So now it's actually going to give this some kind of pop effect. So it really starts out really quickly and then it slows down, something like this. What you can do if you want it a little bit quicker is just drag this in a little bit and then you have something like this. Okay, so now we have our first kind of animation. What I want to do now is duplicate that layer. So click on the layer, go to Edit, Duplicate, and we're going to press U on the keyboard and just offset it like 1 frame. So if we're going to zoom in here, we can actually offset this a little bit. So now we have something like this. And of course you want it to look a little bit different. So what we'll do is open up these settings here and we're going to the stroke. And at the beginning, I want my stroke to be even bigger, something like maybe 100. Then for the color, we also want something different. So I'm going to select my logo. So I'm going to make it visible and just pick something like a pink color this time. Then again, I'm going to uncheck it so we don't see it. And now we have something like this. Okay, pretty cool. I'm going to add a few dashes here. So right here at the stroke, you'll see dashes. I'm going to press the plus right here. Now we have a few dashes. We can, of course, increase them. Something like this. Looks fine. And now we have something differently. So looks pretty cool. And of course, maybe a little bit bigger. Maybe even 200 for the stroke width. Okay. We can close all these settings down and press U on the keyboard to reveal all the keyframes. I'm even going to select all of them and bring them in a little bit more so it's really quickly a little bit farther away. Okay, I think we have it right here on the spot. Okay, that's good. So this is what I'm looking for. I'm going to duplicate it one more time. So click on it, Edit, Duplicate. And now we're going to open up these settings one more time. Like right here, I'm going to solo this layer. I'm actually going to open up the contents, the rectangle, and this time I want it at the end. I want it to actually be very, very long in stroke. So we're going to open up the stroke, and we're going to increase the stroke width to something like this. And now I'm going to press one more time on these dashes. So I'm going to open up the settings right here, and I'm going to click one more time on it. So now we can actually also enter the gap, and I'm going to increase the gap to something like this, and we can make it a lot thinner. So now we have something like this, and of course you can add a few other dashes if you want to, so just play around with the offset. So now we have something like this, which looks extremely weird if you ask me. Maybe you can start off like at 50, and now they're actually growing a little bit like so. And now what you want to do is actually just close everything down while we're going to unsolo this. Select this layer and go to Layer, Pre-compose it. We're going to move all the attributes and just rename it to like Stroke Explosion. And we're going to click OK. So now what I want to do is I'm going to choose my mask tool here. And I'm going to select my ellipse tool. And right here at the beginning, I'm actually going to make a circle like this, a perfect circle where it's actually entirely covered. So what I want to do is click over here and just subtract it. So now we're not going to see it anymore, and we're going to open up our mask settings. I'm going to click on the keyframe for, well, the stopwatch for the mask expansion. And then we're going to the beginning here. We're actually going to make this a lot smaller so we can actually see our stroke. And as you can see, by just doing this, maybe minus 500 should be fine. just by doing this, you're going to see that we are actually closing our strokes like this. And actually what I want to do is, if we open up this composition, just make sure that the shape layer actually starts at the beginning. So go back to that pop effect. We're actually going to offset this effect a little bit more into time, and now we have something like this. And of course you can make it a lot smaller if you want, so we can go in here, open the settings, and go into the content rectangle stroke, and just make it smaller. And now I want to change a few of these colors. So I'm going to make my Instagram logo visible again. And now I'm going to click on my stroke explosion, go to Effect, Generate 4 color gradient right here. I'm actually going to pick 4 colors that we see in our logo. Maybe a little bit different. And there we go. And what we want to do is just bring in these dots like so. So now this popping effect is going to look a little bit different. And what I want to do is actually make sure that we're going to keep this one like this, and this one to be brighter. So we have a little bit more variation going on in here. Maybe bring this over here. Okay. So now we have some different colors popping like so. And again, we're going to do the same thing for our Instagram logos. So what I will do is select these keyframes from one of our shape layers. I'm going to edit, copy these, and right here at the beginning, click on my Instagram logo, edit, paste, and I'm just going to offset this into time as well. So now we have something like this. And of course, if we're going to press U on the keyboard, we'll have to go to the last scale property and change this to 50% because 100 is way too big. So now we have something like this, which looks pretty cool. Of course, you can go into your graph editor and really go and play around with these settings. So maybe you want to pop it a little bit more, maybe have something like this. Okay, so now we have our first animation. So now what I will do is create a new composition and make this full HD, so 1920 by 1080p, and I'm going to rename this to lower thirds, and there we go. I'm going to click OK. I'm just going to my project manager, and I'm going to apply this pop effect. I'm just going to drag this into my composition, and now we have this kind of animation. So now what we want to do is right here when it actually slams in, so right here it's revealed, I'm going to press P on the keyboard and actually also S on the keyboard because I want to make it smaller. I just wanted to make sure that we are not losing any quality, so maybe something like 25 or 35 should be fine. And then what I did is press P on the keyboard, click on the stopwatch, and then like 20 frames further away. I'm doing this with the page down, by the way, holding shift. And then what I did is just moved it to the left. Also right click, keyframe assistance, easy ease, and just made this a little bit longer. So these animations are very similar, but these animations like move it to the left and then just like slowly ramps out in speed. So this is a really nice effect to add in motion graphics. Make it a little bit longer or whatever you need. So I did something like this and actually moved it a little bit more to the left. And while I did that, if we're going to take a look right here in my animation, because I'm not going to make it entirely like this, but yeah, I'm just going to show you a lot of these techniques right here. So we have this text coming out. So what I will do is right here, I'm going to import my text logo and also make this smaller, something like 50 or maybe 35 as well. And go to Effect, Generate, Fill. I'm going to make this white and 25 in size. There we go. What I want to do right here at the end, I want this Instagram text to be at the right spot. So right here, I'm going to press P on the keyboard, click on the stopwatch for this logo, go all the way to the beginning, and just make sure that it's on the left side of our logo. So now it's actually revealing itself. Also the last keyframe, right click, keyframe assistance, easy ease, and also go to the graph editor and just bring this in a little bit more. So we have this kind of animation. Looks pretty cool. The only thing that is missing here is that we are actually seeing our Instagram logo right here before our logo is actually revealing it. So what we want to do here is create a new shape layer. So I'm going to click away, go over here, and I'm going to create a rounded rectangle tool. I'm going to select something like so. And right here again, we want to click on the stroke and just make sure we have no stroke, but we do have a fill this time. So make it whatever fill color you want it to be. And then we're going to press P on the keyboard. And actually I'm going to put it below our logo for now. And I'm going to take my selection tool and put it in the right position of our edge of the Instagram logo right here. So I'm going to click on the stopwatch for our position. And then right here at the end, I want it to be right here. Okay, so again, at the size of our Instagram logo, right click, keyframe assistance, easy ease. And what we want to do is make sure that we have the same kind of exponential fade out like we had in our actual logo. So now it should follow along with our Instagram logo. Actually, another thing that we could do and that I'm thinking about right now is actually deleting all these keyframes and just using the parent tool and click, select the pop effect. So now it should actually follow along with that layer. I'm going to put this above right here. I'm going to toggle the switches right here, and I'm going to use the track matte, and I'm going to use the alpha matte. So now it should only reveal the text. The only thing that we want to change is alpha inverted matte, so we actually see everything outside of the shape instead of inside. So now it's revealing our text like so, like this. Okay, so that's pretty cool. We have our text. Next, what we want to do is have these kind of lines flying over. So let's do one of these, and then you'll get the idea to make more of these. So new solid layer, stroke, flying, and click OK. I'm going to use my pen tool, click over here. Well, actually, before I click, I will click and drag. So we have something like this. Then right here, I'll click and drag as well. I'm holding the shift to actually make it straight like this. And then again, right here. Of course, with the selection tool, you can reposition everything like so. And there we have it. So we have our mask on our solid layer. Now I want to go to my effects and presets and search for the stroke effect. And I want to apply this to that same solid layer. Now we have our path 1 automatically selected, so that shouldn't be a problem. And for the paint style, we actually want to use on transparent. So now we actually have a stroke right here. We can make it a little bit thicker like this. And what we want to do is actually click on, again, take a color that we see in our logo to keep everything consistent. So what I want to do is make sure that we start at, opacity 100. What am I doing here? The end and start should be both 0. I'm going to click on these two stopwatches and then move a little bit forward and change it to 100. So actually, you're not going to see a thing going on. We're going to press U on the keyboard to reveal these keyframes. Now, like right here, I'm actually going to move them to the beginning and the ending right here. So I'm going to, again, right-click, keyframe assistance, easy ease, open the graph editor, select them, and drag them in. Okay, so now, again, nothing changes. The only thing that we should do is actually select these last keyframes, just offset them a little bit until you're satisfied. So right here, this is a little bit too long, but so you get something like this. Of course, this is a little bit too much, so what you can do is just soften this up a little bit, maybe even move the entire mask down a little bit like so, and maybe you don't want it to last this long, so maybe select this layer, just make it, double click on it and just make it shorter like so, and now you have a different kind of animation like so. And of course, if you just select this layer, go to edit, duplicate, you can actually just click on one of these keys like so, move this up a little bit, and now you have a different one. So this is how you change it, and then again, just pick another color, and now you have two strokes. Of course, offset them a little bit. And that's what I did. So you can make as many as you want. Maybe make this one a little bit longer. It's up to you. Okay, so that's basically it, how to create these strokes. And then we have one last thing to do, and that's this circle coming up and then forming the entire rectangle like so. Like this. So I'm going to go back to my lower thirds and I'm going to create a new rectangle again. So I'm going to create a rounded rectangle tool. and make a shape. So make sure it's actually a mask. Make sure that you have nothing selected, otherwise it's going to make a mask. So make something like this, open it up, and actually again fill none and stroke white, fill none. Okay, there we go. So we have something like this, and we're going to open up these stroke settings right here, and we're going to okay, so we're going to add a come on, trim path right here. Okay, so we're going to add a trim path to our layer, and we're going to open this up and actually again just zero this thing out. Click on this stopwatch at the end, again 20 frames further away, 100, right click, keyframe assistance, easy ease. You should be able to do this by now, and then just drag this in like this. So that is a little exactly what we want, and we also want to animate our shape a little bit. So we're going to open up the rectangle path right here, and the roundness, we actually want to make it a circle, so we're going to increase it until we can't anymore like this. Click on the stopwatch for the roundness, and then like at the end we actually want to make it a little bit less, so we have some kind of corners in here like this, and now we actually see this animate like this. Again, you can right click, keyframe assistance, easy ease, go over here, drag this in, and there we go. Okay, so last thing that we want to do here is uncheck the size right here so we don't keep it constrained to the same proportions. Go to the beginning, click on the keyframe for the size, and like right here at the end we actually want to make it a little bit wider like this. So we have something like this going on. Of course, you can go and like tweak everything, make the stroke a little bit thinner to make it look a little bit better. Of course, you can do all that stuff. Maybe even a little bit thinner at the end like this. And now you have something like this. And then lastly, what we want to do is click on this shape layer, go to edit, and we're going to duplicate that layer. Stroke, we're going to set to none. And the fill, we're going to set it to white. So now we have exactly the same thing going on. The only difference is that we now have a complete fill right here. So what I want to do with this is I'm actually going to create a text. So I'm going to create a text, youtube.com/c/Ignace Aleya 1. And be sure to subscribe to that channel because I hear it's awesome. Okay, so we're going to use our text, go over here and just bring this, whoa, what am I doing here? This is trippy. Okay, so I'm going to place this in the center of this rectangle box. And of course you can't see it, toggle the switches. And actually I'm going to bring this below our last shape layer. So the shape layer that has been filled in. And just toggle the switches until you can see the track matte right here. We're going to choose alpha matte this time. So now we actually see our text, but if we bring our text outside of this box, you're not going to see it. So what we want to do is bring it over here, go to the beginning, or actually to the beginning of the circular animation. So I'm going to press U on the keyboard so I can actually see when that is. So that's right here. And our text, I want my text to be like right here. Press P on the keyboard, click on the stopwatch for our text, and then like right here at the end, just make it sure that it's in the right position right here. And actually at the start, I just wanted to make a nice straight line here. So we have something like this. And again, you can click over here, right click, keyframe assistance, keyframe, easy ease, and we're going to drag this in. There we go. And let's preview. So that's basically how I created this entire effect. Of course, this has a little bit more finish to it, a little bit more detail, but it's basically the same. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you did, give this video a like, and be sure to subscribe to our channel. We have a bunch to offer, and if you check out our website, if you buy something, you might be able to support our channel, so that would be so great if you go and check it out. We have a bunch to offer. I'm sure you'll find something that you like, and it really does help to support our channel to create more and awesome stuff. And apart from that, I hope to see you in the next one, and goodbye.